If you want to see me create an easy beginner look with the Elizabeth Arden 2018 holiday set, then stick around. Hi there, it's Hélène with another video, and this is a subscriber request. And the request was to do an easy look with the Elizabeth Arden 2018 holiday set palettes. There are two of them, and I thought sure, and this was specific to an eye look, and so I've got the two eye palettes with me, and let me show you what these are. There is one that is more of a smoky look, more dramatic eyeshadows, although I wouldn't really call them dramatic, but as far as the selection, these would be more evening looks than anything else in the two palettes. And I do like this palette for the couple of very light shades that can act as brow bone. There's one that is cooler and one that's warmer. And then the other palette is actually the one we'll be mostly working with today. And it is, they don't really have a name, I don't think. No. Here are the shadows in the other one. This is the one we'll be playing with. And the ones that I'm most interested in are this one, and this one. But we'll only be using two of the three. I just want to swatch the three to give you a sense of where I'm coming from in having chosen those shadows as primary shadows. I'll go with the brown one to begin with, which is the, what's the brown one? And no idea how that can be Antique Rose, so I don't know if the names are right, but let me just put it right in the middle of my hand. It's more of a, it looks like more of a taupey brown than some sort of an Antique Rose. So this is going to be a crease and outer lid color, and probably on the lower lash line. And then there are two colors that could go on the inner lid. And that would really have to do with your skin tone. So we've got a warmer option in this sparkly peach color. And then we have a cooler option with the pink, shimmery pink. I'm going to put it on the other side, opposite the peach, so that you can see the difference. And it's very crumbly though. But I think you'll be able to see the three. So anchor color, and then going warmer or cooler for the inner lid. I am going to go with the warmer side, but definitely I could do the pink side. The nice thing about an inner corner color is that you can pick things that are not necessarily kind to your skin tone, because the inner corner is kind of sequestered. It is in its own spot on the eye. When you put something further out here that doesn't match your skin tone, there's more of a contrast with your skin and it can look a little off. But on the inner corner, you can pretty much get away with anything. That's, in my opinion, for me, the inner corner and sometimes the center lid is like my play area. I can do and wear just about anything as long as that color, in my opinion, goes with the other colors for the rest of the eye. So this is just for immediate comfort zone of matching your skin tone in the entirety, especially if you're looking for a more discreet look. But again, inner corner, center lid, those can be the fun play areas of the eye. But there are no rules. If you're more comfortable having cool tones on a warmer skin tone, warmer colors on a cooler skin tone, and you just go to town, you go for it. There are no rules in makeup. But I am answering the question for someone who's tentative with using these palettes, and I want to make sure that I offer an answer that is going to address those concerns. I'm going to stop talking about just the palette, and I want to get into applying. I'm just going to wipe my fingers and then we'll get right into it. Now let's address the fact I do have a base on my eye. So if you decide you want to start off with a basically a bare eye, that's fine. If you have oily lids, you may want to use something like a tacky primer. It's either a cream or a solid that you use with, apply with your fingers or a brush. And then what you do is you find a powder that is very close to your skin tone, and you do something called setting the primer, which is that you put that powder on top of the primer just to remove the stickiness. And what it does is it cancels out the veins and discoloration that you may have on your eyelids. That is what I did today. I used the NYX eyeshadow base in 03, which is a bit dark for me, but I go in with a light powder. I went with the Smashbox Matte Exposure, which I have back here. I thought it was still out, but it wasn't. So I used vanilla and tonal. Tonal in the crease, vanilla all over, just to give myself a start to the eye. It is not a necessary step by any means. It's just something that I do as a standard practice when I'm putting my makeup on. Now, let's get into this palette. So I'm going to go in with this one, and I'm going to go in with it using two different kinds of brushes. I'm going to use a very fluffy brush to go into the crease and just establish this anchor color. And then I'll go in with a smaller brush to intensify the outer corner. So let's get started. Does this happen to you? You're looking for a brush in your brush holder and it's right in front of your face the whole time? That's what happened with this one. So this is the crease brush, and I'm hoping you can get a sense of dimensions. It is a little bit fluffed out because I've used it quite a bit over the last number of months, but it's about a medium size taper for a crease brush, and I think that this works really well because it still distributes the powder pretty generously, I guess, so it's not a super intense application right off the hop. Especially when you're using a new shadow, you don't want to go in too hard. Okay, so I've picked some up off my the pan, and I'm just going to tap the excess off right back in the pan. That is my preference. Some people tap the excess off the pan. To each his own. So I'm going to go in right into the crease. I'm doing windshield wiper motions. And I'm going very light because you can just build up the color. And so I'm going to go in again, tapping off the brush, and here I go. And how far in you go in the crease, you have to decide how intense and how wide you want that crease, and it really will depend on your eye shape. If you have hooded eyes, you want to go a little bit higher up in the crease so that it shows above the fold. And if you have more of your eyelid showing, you have more discretion about whether you want to keep it further down under that fold or not. So it really depends on your eye shape and your preference. Okay, now the nice thing about one of these colors is that it can be continuous on your eye, and so we'll probably bring it down a little bit onto the outer lower lid with a much smaller brush. We don't want to use this one because we want more precision, I would suspect. I'm okay usually with using this one, but I could see how somebody would be sheepish wondering how far down it's going to go, so we won't do that. And I think this looks okay. And so we are going to go in with a smaller brush to take care of the outer lid. For the purposes of the outer lid, I really want to intensify the color, so I'm going to use this brush, which is a bit of a tapered eyeshadow brush. And not tapered sideways. What I mean is it's not very, it's flatter on one side than the crease brush that we were using. We're going to go back into the same color and go on to the outer lid. And I'm picking up the shadow on only one side of the brush. Tapping again, and we're going to go right onto the outer lid, pulling from the crease in toward the iris of the eye. You'll see I go a little bit into the crease again and down, just to make sure that it follows that line. I'm going to go in again. It's not a super pigmented color, so you have to layer a little bit. And it's definitely not going to go super dark. We're just hoping a little bit darker than the crease. I'll go in one more time. And I'm going just, if you see, I'm just going a little bit past the center of the eyelid, I should say, because I'm going to cover some of it up with the lighter color on the inner lid. Okay, I am liking this. I am probably going to use a smaller brush than this to bring the brown a little bit lower, but whatever's left on the brush, I'm going to start the process right here. Okay, we're ready to go in with a smaller brush. I'm going to go in with a small smudger brush because it gives me a lot of precision. Going to go in with the same color, and again tapping it mostly on one side and not the other. Tapping off the excess, and the side that has the color is the one that's going to go upward. And just following the lower lashes. And only about 2/3 of the way. And when you get 2/3 of the way, taper up so that you're not putting it too thick toward the inner lid. All right, and now on this side here, because we're pretty much done on the outer, I'm going to take a clean brush and just soften up the outside edge. For that purpose, I'm going to use another fluffy brush. You can definitely use the one, clean off the one that you used to begin with in the crease and do that for the outer, but I have another one, so I'll use that. And I'm just softening this up a little bit. You can use circular motions, stroking motions. What we're trying to do is get the eyeshadow to meld more into the rest of the makeup that we have on our face, or just our natural skin color if you didn't use any sort of base or anything. Now I have a few specks of eyeshadow down here. I'm just going to wipe them off nicely, and then we're going to go into, use 2 more eyeshadows, one for the inner lid that we talked about, and then another one on the brow bone, just so that you see what the options are for the brow bone in these 2 palettes. Now for the next color, we're going into the inner lid. I mentioned the 2 colors, this one and this one, and I'm going to go in with this one because I do have a warmer complexion. Although, like I said, I definitely would use the pink with no reservations because, again, it's the inner lid. But I wanted to show what the peach one would look like on the inner lid for a warmer skin tone. So I have put powder on my brush, and I'm going to go in now to spread that color. And I'm following the natural crease of my eye. In my case, you can definitely go a little bit further in. And you'll see I'm going just a little bit past the center, so there's a bit of overlap between the, just going, making sure I've got the right side of the brush. I put shadow on the other side last time. All right. But as you can see, that was not a big deal. Okay. And so that just softens up the inner lid. Brings a little bit of sparkle into the look. And you want to make sure you go high enough so that when you look down, you don't have shadow too low on the lid. You're basically following the upper bottom of your orbital bone. One more time. Okay, now we have quite a bit of that peach color on the inner lid, but to intensify the color, I really recommend using a small finger. So you can use the ring finger, but I'm probably going to use my pinky so I can really go into the inner lid. And you should see more of the shimmer coming through by using your finger. The reason the shimmer is intensified is because with the finger you can do patting motions but also dragging motions that just seems to bring out the sparkle in the shimmer. Similar to when we do swatches with our finger, just like I did here, it will be more intense than what the brush would show you. And just to make the point, I will use my ring finger and also intensify the brown with my ring finger by tapping as well. And then I'll use my pinky just to get the sparkle back on the overlap between the two. There we go. Now I do want to use one more color to go right on the brow bone to really make the brow more noticeable, and that's going to be in the other palette. We have two colors in the other palette that I did mention before. We have a cooler tone, which I would suggest using if you used the pink, and we have a warmer tone that I'm going to use because I used the peach. And I will change my brush to finish up the brow bone. I am going to use this brush, which is it's called a shadow brush. Again, it is flatter than it is wide. And I'm going to go in with this color right here, which is called Bone, apparently. And that is the only thing I've used that shade for at all in this palette. We're going to go just, not very much, just along the eyebrow. You start off very nice and light, and you can always build up. Okay, that is the finished eyeshadow look. I'm going to do the other eye and then put liner and mascara and come back. Okay, I am back with the finished look, and let me tell you about everything that I used. The first thing that I did was I took a Q-tip and just cleaned up on the inner lid because there was a little bit of transfer from the upper lid to just along the inner lid, which happens with a brush or a finger. It's very easy to get a bit of transfer down, and I didn't really want to have any of the peach underneath. I only wanted to have it at the top. So I took care of that. I also took my brush again to wipe off the little bit of shimmer that had dropped down and a little bit of the brown that had dropped down on my lower, well, under my eye basically. So I brushed that off. Next, I applied this Annabelle Brown liner. Now, this is a Canadian brand, but basically I took a liner that is easy to find in no matter what kind of a brand because it's a straight brown. And I applied that on my upper waterline and also on my lash line. Very, very tight to my lash line up above. I finished about right here. I didn't go all the way in. And then down here as well, my lower waterline, and then onto my lash line a little bit, not very much. So that is the liner that I have right now. And I'm noticing that I have a little bit of transfer of the mascara, and I'm going to rub that off right now. If you find that you have a little bit of mascara that transfers on the upper lid, there was just a little bit, it flakes off very easily if you just rub the Q-tip very, very gently along your upper lash line, and it doesn't take away too much of the eyeshadow, so I don't have anything else to do for that. And then finally, I applied mascara. In my case, I put on the Stila Huge. You use whichever mascara you like in a brown or black color, or if you want to go really daring, maybe maybe a blue, I don't know. But yeah, just a mascara on the upper lash line. I don't tend to do lower lash line all that much, although I do get a little bit of transfer onto my lower lashes. And I think it looks fine, so I'm going to leave it as is. And that's pretty much it. I had my eyebrows done and my face makeup before the eyeshadow tutorial. So if you want to know what I used, it's all down in the description box below, including this little guy. This is what I had on my lips the whole video, but I just added some more at the end because I knew what color I was going to use on my eyes. I just had it match right from the beginning. I went a little bit extra on that side, but here it is. It is the Joe Fresh in Pecan or Pecan, depending on where you live. That is the color, and it's very flattering for the eyeshadow color. If the nice thing is, whatever accent you use on your eye, if it is a color that you're comfortable wearing on the lip, it can look really, really nice. Let me just show you that, and this is just a lip balm, it's nothing fancy. Let me just show you the effect of having a lip color that matches very much your eye color, the eyeshadow color that you've chosen. It just ends up being a really nice pairing, and they complement each other, drawing attention to each other in a nice way. And of course, you can do the same idea with contrasting colors that are complementary. You can do that too to really show off the difference. But anyway, that's what I chose for today because I thought that we were trying to stay neutral, easy, approachable, and yeah, approachable I think is the right word. At least that's what I had in mind. I hope I read the request properly, and if not, please leave a comment below for the person who requested this and we can go from there. But yeah, this is the final look. I hope you enjoyed this. I guess I'll call it a tutorial, maybe a presentation or a demo. I don't know. You decide. I'm not sure what I'm going to call this, but I do hope you found it helpful. Now, if you are a subscriber and you have a request based on the videos you've seen me do so far, by all means, put them in the comment section on this video or any other of the other ones because I respond to all my comments. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now, take care.